You're 50 feet into a hiking trail in the American West, and a mountain lion steps out of the brush and just looks at you. Not charging, not snarling, just staring. The way a cat stares at a cucumber somebody snuck up behind it. Except this cat weighs 150 pounds and has a genuine opinion about your continued existence. Every cell in your body is screaming one instruction: run. Here's the part that should genuinely terrify you. That instinct, the one keeping you alive in basically every other dangerous situation you'll ever face, is exactly the thing most likely to get you killed in this specific one. Everything your body has learned about survival up to this exact moment is about to work against you, and it's going to feel completely wrong to ignore it. So here's the real question. Why does the single most natural human reaction turn a tense standoff into an actual chase? And what do wildlife agencies actually want you doing instead? Let's go. That animal staring at you isn't building up courage. It's running numbers. Predators don't survive by picking fights for fun. Every hunt burns energy, and every fight risks real injury. A torn muscle, a cracked jaw, an infected bite, none of which come with a follow-up appointment out in the wild. A wounded predator often just starves slowly instead, weeks later, far from the moment that actually caused it. So before anything happens, the animal is quietly asking itself a version of the exact same question a boxer asks before stepping into a ring. Can I actually win this without limping away from it? And is winning even worth the effort in the first place? And you, standing there in hiking boots, are a genuinely confusing entry to score. Upright instead of four-legged, facing forward instead of offering a nice profile, like a deer grazing sideways, smelling like a walking chemistry set, sweat, sunscreen, laundry detergent, whatever trail mix you just ate. None of it matches anything normally on the menu, and predators are not exactly known for adventurous eating. That long, uncomfortable stare isn't hesitation before an attack. It's an animal squinting at an unfamiliar word in a language it's never studied. Then you run, and you've just answered its entire quiz. Every question, wrong. Here's the mechanism, and it's not really a choice on the animal's part at all. Researchers call it prey drive, and it functions less like a decision and more like a reflex wired directly into the nervous system. You've seen a much smaller version of this yourself. If you've ever owned a dog that ignores a jogger walking calmly past the yard, then completely loses its mind the instant that same person breaks into a run. The jogger didn't become more threatening. They just started moving like something worth chasing. Now scale that exact same reflex up from an 80-pound golden retriever to a mountain lion built entirely around explosive short bursts of speed and a bite aimed precisely at the back of a fleeing animal's neck. Standing still doesn't just fail to trigger that system. It denies the system the one specific ingredient it actually needs to fire at all. The way a smoke detector without smoke simply has nothing to respond to, no matter how sensitive it is. Running tells a predator three things almost instantly, and none of them help you. That you're afraid, which reads as weakness. That you move like prey, because prey runs and predators generally don't. And you've politely turned your single most vulnerable side directly toward the thing with the claws. It's the wildlife equivalent of handing over your password after spending the entire conversation insisting you'd never fall for exactly that trick. Not every predator is running this calculation the exact same way, and knowing the difference genuinely matters. Mountain lions are ambush specialists, built for stealth and a single decisive strike rather than a long chase. This is exactly why the National Park Service and state wildlife agencies specifically warn against running from a cougar in nearly identical language across every region where the two of you might cross paths. Running can flip an animal that was still undecided, especially a younger or hungrier one, straight into full pursuit mode within seconds, sometimes before it has even consciously registered the decision itself. Wolves operate differently, more like a team running a slow negotiation than a lone hunter making a snap decision. They test, they circle, they watch how you respond before committing to anything, sometimes for uncomfortably long stretches of time. A calm human, and especially a calm group of humans, reads as a genuinely bad investment of their energy, roughly the wildlife equivalent of a business plan with no realistic return. One person breaking away in a full panic sprint reads as something else entirely. Isolated, exposed, worth a second look. Bears complicate the picture, because plenty of bear charges aren't hunting behavior at all. A startled bear, a mother protecting cubs, or one guarding a food source can charge purely out of defense. And here's the twist. It's frequently a bluff, a full sprint straight at you that stops just a few feet feet short isn't a failed attack. It's closer to the bear asking, in the least subtle way biologically possible, are you going to run or are you going to hold your ground? Once it gets an answer, the charge often ends right there because the question has already been settled. Running doesn't make a bear suddenly decide you look appetizing. It turns a tense, readable moment into chaos and motion. And chaos is exactly what escalates a defensive animal that was only ever trying to protect something, not hunt anything at all. Now, an honest complication, because a tidy rule deserves an honest asterisk. None of this is an ironclad law. A predator that's already stalking you unseen, already starving, or defending cubs at genuinely close range isn't running a careful cost-benefit calculation anymore. That decision, in the rare, ugly cases where it happens, got made before you ever noticed the animal was there at all. In those situations, everything you just learned about staring, standing tall, and backing away slowly still applies, but it's no longer negotiating with a predator that's weighing options. It's dealing with one that already decided. But here's the reassuring context wildlife researchers keep finding, over and over, across studies on large carnivore encounters worldwide. Those situations remain the rare exception, not the daily reality. Most documented attacks share a specific, recognizable set of ingredients: a surprise encounter at close range, an animal already conditioned to associate humans with food, an injured predator running out of safer options, or a mother defending young nearby. Strip those specific circumstances away, and the vast majority of encounters between humans and large predators never escalate into anything beyond exactly what you just experienced on that trail: a long stare, a held breath, and both parties eventually walking away in opposite directions. So here's the twist worth carrying with you the next time you're standing somewhere you genuinely shouldn't run. This instinct, freeze, flee, survive, evolved back when the choice between fight and flight had to fire faster than conscious thought could ever weigh in. For nearly every other threat your ancestors ever faced, that reflex kept them alive. But humans have something almost no other prey animal on the planet gets to have: the ability to notice that ancient alarm going off in real time and consciously choose not to obey it. That's really the entire secret hiding underneath every piece of official wildlife advice about mountain lions, wolves, and bears. Making yourself look big, backing away slowly, holding eye contact instead of turning away. None of it is about outrunning the animal, because you genuinely cannot. It's about overriding the one reflex that would instantly convert a tense, undecided standoff into an actual chase. A predator staring you down isn't holding back out of mercy, and it isn't sitting there waiting politely for an excuse to attack either. It's running the exact same cold calculation every apex predator on this planet has been running for millions of years. Is this worth the risk? Standing still, looking big, and backing away slowly keeps answering that question with a firm, boring no, the single most anticlimactic answer you could possibly give an animal that survives specifically by avoiding unnecessary risk. Running answers it with yes, and hand delivers the exact piece of information that ancient reflex has been waiting its entire evolutionary history to receive. The trail, the stare, the pounding heart, none of that was ever really the danger. Your own legs were. See you in the next one.